And this is Richard Miller for Sons of the American Legion Radio. Our basketball huddle tonight. With me is Jack McGuirk. Jack McGuirk, how are you?
Doing very well. How you doing, Richard?
I'm doing very well. The college basketball season comes to an end with Gonzaga no longer undefeated as the Baylor Bears win the national championship with a victory over Gonzaga 86 to 70 in a battle of two number one teams. Baylor winning by 16 points. What did you think of the game, Jack?
It was a heck of a game. Big surprise. Everybody picked Gonzaga to win. They were the undefeated team going in, and Baylor played extremely well. In fact, Baylor at not one point during the game did Baylor trail. Um, they were every single. They were in the lead throughout the game. So, so it was a big surprise win. Although Baylor was ranked number 2, so it wasn't too big a surprise. But yeah, they defeated the big undefeated beast of Gonzaga. It almost reminded me a little bit of Super Bowl 42, where you had
The Giants and the
the
Patriots
undefeated against the New York Giants, and
on my
Giants ended
18th
up with
birthday. Oh man, that I think also again another big thing was Baylor also really controlling the ball from I think the opening tip. Baylor controlled the ball from the opening to a disbelief and reality had set it. I think I think also for Gonzaga the push for perfection, it really actually got into their head coming into this final game of the season with an undefeated record. It especially after the first half, it got into their head more. If a team that doesn't go like undefeated, especially going into the last game, and more like they're not playing a complete game. I thought Gonzaga was thinking so much about the perfect season, but almost even that they got slowed down, specifically also struggling on the 3-point shines, reliable to the Bears 3-point shooting. They just couldn't knock down some of the shots, and but Baylor was even able to make some of those shots. Gonzaga just went 5 for 17 on the three throws, and the total of 6 NCAA games. The Zags struggled all night with the Bears defensively and playing aggressively. That implied a lack of fear. So it was quite a game, and good for Baylor because after what they had been through, now what do you think about this, Jack? They have risen back up from the ashes and delivered that school a long-awaited national championship.
absolutely. I mean, when you look at both of these schools, they're not really thought of as being your typical powerhouse basketball schools like Duke or Kentucky or Syracuse. Not a school like that. These are both smaller schools. Gonzaga, a small Catholic Jesuit college, but small Catholic college on the West Coast, kind of like Iona um, here in New York, or Fordham University, for example. Um, and yeah, this is an unbelievable win for Baylor, coming out on top. And I've already seen predictions for next year for people looking at Gonzaga as maybe the favorite again. Also, UCLA is getting a lot of love too. We were
Yes,
talking UCLA with playing very well, going from the first four to the final four tournament. So they're definitely another team to keep an eye on next season.
I would definitely agree. I thought UCLA had a chance to beat Gonzaga. If UCLA had beaten Gonzaga into that championship game, oh, that match. I think that matchup against Baylor would have been more close. But also, especially in this game, I think Baylor was able to control it more because able to play with more. They were able to play with more efficiency, and they probably studied the game field in the game room and look for more opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also at the end of the NC, or at the end of the NCAA tournament. And now also after a year of not having the tournament because of COVID-19, the entire the entire 2020 the entire NCAA tournament went off without pretty much of a hit. Although one game being postponed, the entire tournament taking place in Lucas Oil Stadium. And also, you
Mhm.
have to give credit to the NCAA for pulling this off, for putting it all
Yeah,
in one place. Much like how I think the NBA played in Orlando, the NHL was using Toronto and Edmonton as hub cities. Same thing with Major League Baseball. I think Major League Baseball played in Arlington for for the World Series. Played in San
that's right.
Diego. I think they also played in Dodger Stadium. So there's a lot. So there's
Hmm.
a lot of this, but you got to give him credit. 'Cause,
Definitely.
yeah,
The only little hiccup I remember at the beginning of the tournament, there were a couple of schools that unfortunately had to bow out of the tournament because of people testing positive with COVID. Most notably, Duke was one of them that just
Duke
missed tournament. First
missing
time
their first tournament since 1995.
since 5. That's what it was. Yes.
Mike Krzyzewski had back surgery. They were 9-3 at that point when he went down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. Yep.
But heck of a game for Baylor. Did you see what happened in the women's tournament?
Yes, I did happen to see I did happen to see what happened in the women's tournament. The 2021 women's. Let's see,
Yeah, that
2021
was another surprise because we were
2020
thinking UConn was
2021
all
women's.
that. It was Arizona and Stanford.
Arizona. Mhm. Arizona winning. Arizona winning the championship. First, actually, no.
Stanford.
Champions was the Stanford Cardinal. Their third
Yep.
title, fifth appearance in the title game, 13th overall with a win in the game. Stanford 54, Arizona Wildcats 53. Much more of a close game than the men's. Really much a very strong game by Haley Jones, who was named the outstanding women's Final Four player and the Naismith Player of the Year in 2019. She had a really good game. Stanford Stanford ends the season 30-2 on the season, giving Tara Vanderdeer a national championship. This one right here was so close even from the early going. And also another thing I found out interesting, this game in this women's game, it now I think one thing that should be considered is that the men's game has two halves. It has now four quarters. So if
Interesting.
there, if there is a game with four quarters, there's obviously I think a lot more action and then a lot more scoring.
That's the format. The four-quarter format is what they have in the NBA. So with those college players, you have all those college players going from the two-half formula to four quarters, uh, which I don't know if that's a big transition for them. It might be, but yeah, it's interesting that they're doing that in women's college basketball.
Yes, women's college basketball played at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. Oh, that was a great game on both ends. I think it was a really fantastic ending to the college basketball season for both the men and women. Oh, I mean,
Absolutely. UConn, we both thought that UConn was going to end up winning the whole tournament in the
yes,
tournament. Obviously, they were upset, didn't win, but one
by
note, thing about UConn is they have a young, great player by the name of Paige Buchers, who was named the Associated Press's Player of Women's Basketball Player of the Year, the first ever freshman to get that award.
19 years old.
Absolutely, yeah.
Out of, let's see, out of Hopkins High School in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yep.
Oh, she looks like someone who could be really good if she keeps up the work that she did with UConn and probably going into the WNBA. A freshman who was 5'11", as I'm getting it up here. 5'11", had one of the greatest rookie seasons in UConn history, leading the Huskies in 20 points per game, 5.8 assists, 2.3 steals per game. She also averaged 4.9 rebounds and shot 52.4 from the field and 46.4 from the 3-point range and 86.9 from the free throw line. UConn relied on her a lot, and she definitely came through for them, and just only the second underclassman to win the Wooden Award, which was first given to Maya Moore. Were the first two winners of the award in 2009, and Oregon star Sabrina Ileson was a consecutive award winner in the past two seasons.
Wow, it's she's an incredible player, Paige Buchers, and she's, as I mentioned, she's just a freshman. So UConn basketball, disappointed with the outcome this year, but they should be really, really excited for next season.
Yes, and that's the one thing you can always say about these teams, because they make, because even with all the expectations, they always have really good players. These college programs, they know how to recruit and retool, because even though they're not winning, teams like UConn, they're always gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're always going to be there.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about Iona basketball, how well they did this year despite all the COVID issues. They the entire month of January they missed, yet they won the MAC tournament, got into the NCAA tournament, where unfortunately lost in the first round to Alabama. But they still played very well, and Iona basketball fans
won all 4 games in the MAC tournament, and also went on a stretch of winning six out of 8 after splitting their previous 5 games. Didn't play all of January, as we know, because of COVID. Their last game was February 20th. The back end of a 2-game series, which they had won previously against Monmouth, 91-68. I mean 91-86. And then the next game they won 88-65. So Iona really had to step up their game, and especially their first year, and a good year for in a return to college basketball. A good season for Rick Pitino in his first season since 2016-17 overall, with a 12-6 record and standing 9th in the MAC conference, a 6-3 record this season. So all in all, a good start, taking over for Tim Clues.
And now Pitino is starting to recruit some new guys for the team for next season. So very exciting.
Yes, it is. So I think on that note, we will say thank you everyone for watching this edition of Sons of American Legion Basketball Huddle. Jack McGuirk, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
I am Richard Miller for Sons of the American Legion Radio. We represent the millions of veterans across the country and across the world. Have a good night, and we'll hope to see you again soon. Have a good night, everyone. Let's see. Okay, Jack.
Did you turn your camera off, or because it looks
Oh,
like it's still recording?
Still recording?
I still see it
Oh,
record on the top.
am I supposed to press the end button now?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, end button, and then, okay. Oh, it still says record.